Well, the buzzword now these days is the climate change. And climate change, if you look at it, is a cross-cutting issue that includes different environmental concerns, overgrazing of our natural forests, and then the biodiversity loss. And one of the most essential concern related on food and dining industries is actually the unsustainable consumption and production of agricultural products. Going through a sustainable dining practices would provide inclusive growth to the community. And when it comes to environment, it will identify sustainability when it comes to harvesting of basic materials like agricultural products, taking into consideration the consumption of water, the use of chemicals, the providing livelihood to the community for that matter. And efficiency would also make a difference when it comes to promoting sustainable dining practices. I believe that sustainable diner project would address the biodiversity and cultural heritage loss, because through sustainable dining initiative, it would really preserve the natural habitat that they are living, and while promoting the cultural heritage to include the native food in the countryside, and using also indigenous materials when it comes to dining. Another national problem that can be addressed is that through sustainable consumption and production initiative, the efficiency of use of resources to include water and energy efficiency, which boils down into reduction of greenhouse gases, and of course providing inclusive growth to our countryside, like to the community. Filipino diners could patronize and advocate sustainable diners by patronizing local food, eating in an establishment, promoting inclusiveness when it comes to eating food, and also encouraging the community to engage more in terms of value chain, supplying sustainable food, organic and healthy products. Well, the buzzword now these days is the climate change. And climate change, if you look at it, is a cross-cutting issue that includes different environmental concerns, overgrazing of our natural forests, and then the biodiversity loss. And one of the most essential concern related on food and dining industries is actually the unsustainable consumption and production of agricultural products. Going through a sustainable dining practices would provide inclusive growth to the community. And when it comes to environment, it will identify sustainability when it comes to harvesting of basic materials like agricultural products, taking into consideration the consumption of water, the use of chemicals, the providing livelihood to the community for that matter. And efficiency would also make a difference when it comes to promoting sustainable dining practices. I believe that sustainable diner project would address the biodiversity and cultural heritage loss, because through sustainable dining initiative, it would really preserve the natural habitat that they are living, and while promoting the cultural heritage to include the native food in the countryside, and using also indigenous materials when it comes to dining. Another national problem that can be addressed is that through sustainable consumption and production initiative, the efficiency of use of resources to include water and energy efficiency, which boils down into reduction of greenhouse gases, and of course providing inclusive growth to our countryside, like to the community. Filipino diners could patronize and advocate sustainable diners by patronizing local food, eating in an establishment, promoting inclusiveness when it comes to eating food, and also encouraging the community to engage more in terms of value chain, supplying sustainable food, organic and healthy products. Well, the buzzword now these days is the climate change. And climate change, if you look at it, is a cross-cutting issue that includes different environmental concerns, overgrazing of our natural forests, and then the biodiversity loss. And one of the most essential concern related on food and dining industries is actually the unsustainable consumption and production of agricultural products. Going through a sustainable dining practices would provide inclusive growth to the community. And when it comes to environment, it will identify sustainability when it comes to harvesting of basic materials like agricultural products, taking into consideration the consumption of water, the use of chemicals, the providing livelihood to the community for that matter. And efficiency would also make a difference when it comes to promoting sustainable dining practices. I believe that sustainable diner project would address the biodiversity and cultural heritage loss, because through sustainable dining initiative, it would really preserve the natural habitat that they are living, and while promoting the cultural heritage to include the native food in the countryside, and using also indigenous materials when it comes to dining. Another national problem that can be addressed is that through sustainable consumption and production initiative, the efficiency of use of resources to include water and energy efficiency, which boils down into reduction of greenhouse gases, and of course providing inclusive growth to our countryside livestock community. Filipino diners could patronize and advocate sustainable diners by patronizing local food, eating in an establishment, promoting inclusiveness when it comes to eating food, and also encouraging the community to engage more in terms of value chain, supplying sustainable food, organic and healthy products.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I think you can all see me and hear me now. Okay. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Okay, everything's working. All right. Okay, so what's up, pandas? Long time no see. This is Pia Wurtzbach, WWF Philippines Ambassador, and welcome to a new season of WWF Philippines Fundraising Hour. Fundraising Hour is usually an on-ground initiative where WWF Philippines spreads awareness on different environmental issues and to encourage everyone to directly contribute to the conservation efforts of the organizations. Now, in the past few years, Fundraising Hour events were done usually in shopping malls and other high traffic areas across the country. But due to the extraordinary times that we're facing right now, WWF Philippines is doing it digitally because now more than ever, we need to support environmental conservation initiatives to achieve a future where Filipinos thrive in harmony with nature. So, to kick off this season of Fundraising Hour, we are raising funds today to support WWF Philippines Kabuhayan para sa mga kababaihan campaign, which will help us secure the livelihood of 21 tuna fishing communities in the Lagonoy Gulf and Mindoro Strait. WWF Philippines has been working on two handline yellowfin tuna fishery improvement projects, or FIPs, in these areas since 2011 and has a deep and strong relationship with the local fishing communities. While these communities have made significant strides towards sustainable fisheries, they're still struggling under the effects of extreme weather events such as typhoons, as well as the disruption of their supply chains because of COVID. So to support these communities, WWF Philippines has held a series of training on tuna value adding and processing. So 104 women in Lagonoy Gulf and 120 women in Mindoro Strait have participated in hands-on workshops to learn how to process tuna meat into products like tuna longanisa, tuna burgers, and tuna nuggets. So these trainings are meant to enable women to start their own small businesses and to add value to the tuna caught in the area. However, despite the training, the women have not been able to make use of their new skills because of lack of equipment and resources to pursue these tuna processing activities. Kaya naman tonight, we are going to raise funds for the provision of livelihood starter kits for them. So donate today, guys, everybody watching right now, by clicking the pinned comment below and by sending in Facebook stars. And help build a future where people and nature thrive. In these challenging times, let's support the lives of people from our partner communities who work tirelessly to ensure that we are well fed and that wildlife and their habitats are protected. At dahil na-miss ko kayong kakwentuhan, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics as a self-confessed foodie myself, local produce and Pinoy dishes. Sasamahan din po tayo today ng dalawang special guests from the WWF Philippines Sustainable Diner team who will share their expertise to help us become sustainable diners. So let's start. Okay. Just want to check if everything's good. People can see me. So hindi lang halata, guys, but since people expect beauty queens to be all prim and proper, right? And like really health conscious. But I'm actually a very big foodie. I studied culinary when I was 19 years old, and I was a chef for a short time. So I love food. Like I love preparing food, but I also love eating food. And eating, like food is like my go-to. My celebration, pagkain. My birthday, pagkain. May nalulungkot ako, pagkain pa rin. Alam mo yun, yung parang it's just for everything. So I just really love food. And since I joined the Panda family, I started to become more mindful with the food that I consume. Because nga I learned that yung mga food choices natin, meron din pala talaga siyang effect sa ating environment. And a simple way to make sure na hindi lang yung katawan natin ang healthy, pero pati na rin yung environment and communities who produce our food is to incorporate local produce in our diet. Bakit? Because locally grown crops ensure household food security, sustain dietary diversity, conserve the environment pa, and support our local farmers. So it's not just better for the environment because it needs less resources, but it also uplifts our farmers and provides them with a thriving livelihood. So, diba, ang dami na nating na-hit with one stone sa ganon. Personally, ang mga favorite local produce ko, I really try to buy in season, lalo na dito sa Pilipinas, sa mga prutas natin, I really try to buy in season. Ay, pati gulay na rin, may mga in season din tayo na gulay. And actually, parang mas nauso rin na rin talaga sa pandemic na local yung pinanggagalingan ng mga groceries mo because of the different like shops that have popped up and people are really being more mindful or more conscious when they're buying their products. So I see it like on a personal standpoint, I do see it everywhere. And parang nangyayari dahil yun lang yung options mo, automatic, yun na yung bibilin mo, di ba? Parang maganda na rin siguro na walang masyadong maraming options. But it's also nice to keep, changing the dishes that you prepare depending on the season and depending on what's available. So that also keeps it really interesting. And marami sa Filipino food dyan really rely on vegetables. So like fresh produce na in season, pwede naman natin gawin at home. It only sounds complicated because you feel like, naku, mag-a-adjust ako ng mga pagkain. Pero hindi. Masaya nga siyang challenge eh. So guys, medyo nakakagutom. At nagkaka-idea na nga ako kung anong gusto kong kainin later after this live stream. Kayo, mag-share naman kayo. So I'm gonna read some of your comments and maybe you can share with us your favorite Pinoy dishes that use local produce. May mga special family recipes ba kayo dyan? Or mga dishes na coming from your respective provinces na gusto nyong i-share? I-share nyo na yan, guys. Gugutom ako just like mentioning this and talking about this. So comment down below, live tayo ngayon, and then of course I will read them, guys. So for those who just joined the live stream, by the way, I would like to once again invite everyone to donate and support WWF Philippines Kabuhayan para sa Kababaihan campaign. Donate today by clicking the pinned comment down below and sending in your Facebook stars. So Facebook stars pala is if you send in a Facebook star, it will be converted by Facebook to a monetary donation that will help us achieve our goal of providing the women of Lagonoy Gulf and Mindoro Strait the equipment and resources that they need for their livelihood. Kasi in these challenging times, let's support the lives of people from our partner communities who work tirelessly to make sure that we're well fed and that wildlife and their habitats are protected. So, fundraising hour to, guys. We would really appreciate if you could also send in a donation while you guys are watching this. Andyan sa pinned comment. I'm gonna start reading some of your comments. Let's see. Okay. Galing kay Chex Guevara, pinakbet. Yes, I like pinakbet yung diba, yung ginagamitan ng okra. I like that. Some people don't like that texture, but I like it. I like it, and it's so good for you. Leah Alfonso says sinigang. I agree with that. Nakakamiss yun. Ang tagal ko na hindi kumakain ng sinigang. Oh, Apple Adamis says happy birthday, Pia. Thank you. Thank you, Apple. And Ishi Padilla also says sinigang. So sinigang seems to be like a big hit. And I agree. It is seasonal, I would say, because the ingredient, when I was in the UK, I tried to make sinigang and I couldn't because I couldn't find the ingredients. So it really is local for sure. Anyone else? Let's see if we have any more comments. I'm just checking right now. Kare-kare. Sabi ni PJ, less 10. Grabe naman kayo, guys. Gutom ako. No, but seriously, a lot of Pinoy food, like Pinoy dishes, are like that. Did you notice? Like, they really use local produce. Marami sa mga favorite nating Pinoy dishes ang ganon. Rain says, kare-kare na maraming gulay. I know. Alam mo, lagi ako nabibitin sa gulay ng kare-kare. As in, di ba usually ang meron dyan is yung bok choy tsaka artichoke hearts. Tama ba? Oh my gosh, natetest yung pagka-chef ko kung meron pa bang natirang knowledge. Let's see if we have any more comments. I'm just checking right now. Okay. All right, so thank you so much, Pandas, for sharing your favorite Pinoy dishes and recipes. So bukod sa my personal love for food, special din yung topic natin today dahil tomorrow is actually Food Loss and Waste Awareness Day. So, facts. Did you know that Filipinos waste up to 308,000 tons of rice every year? And around 80% of the biodegradable waste in the country is actually food waste. Nakakabahala po ito dahil sa kabila ng mga problemang kinakaharap natin in terms of hunger and food security, hindi biro yung daming nasasayang na pagkain dahil sa food waste. So, huwag po tayong mag-alala dahil as mentioned earlier, meron tayong two special guests today who will teach us about how we can prevent food wastage and ultimately become sustainable diners. So from WWF Philippines Sustainable Diner Team, let's call on Lorraine Roque and Lizelle Stewart Del Rosario.
Hi, Pia. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Nagutom naman ako dun sa topic natin today.
Kaya nga tas puro Filipino dishes pa. Nakakatuwa.
Oo nga. Very
Nakaka-
apt na local produce talaga yung. Loving local nga naman tayo.
yes. Hello, Miss Lizelle. How are
Hello,
you?
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So we have a few questions here, guys. So, how does our relationship with food actually affect the environment?
Okay, I think I'll take this one. So, when we think about the environmental issues ngayon, not a lot of people really consider food as an environmental issue. Pero the fact is, padami kasi ng padami yung tao sa mundo natin, di ba? So, pataas ng pataas yung demand natin for food. And to be honest, essentially, our food sources are supposed to be renewable. So, di ba, if you plant rice, tapos hinarvest mo siya, pagkatapos nun, pwede ka lang ulit magtanim, tapos harvest mo ulit, di ba? But because of unsustainable practices, nasisira yung ganong natural capacity ng ating environment na maging renewable. Tapos dahil dito, nako-compromise din yung ating food security. So yung collective choices talaga ng tao sa kanilang pagkain ay may napakalaking impact sa ating environment, which in turn affects our food supply and ultimately our survival. So paano nga ba nakaka-apekto ang ating pagkain sa environment? So unang-una, ang traditional agricultural practice kasi ngayon ay monocropping, or ito yung pagtatanim ng isang klaseng crop lang all year round. So kapag ginagawa natin to, kailangan gumamit ng sobrang daming fertilizers tsaka pesticides para hindi mamatay yung crop na yun. Pero kapag gumagamit tayo nito, pinapatay din niya yung mga other helpful plant species, mga bacteria, tsaka other microorganisms na nasa lupa natin. Tapos dahil dito, pumapangit yung lupa. So naapektuhan yung gaano kalaki or gaano kadami yung napapatubo natin na ani. So nababawasan din yung food supply natin, di ba? And also, yung ganitong poor soil health, it also leads to the conversion of more land. So minsan, di ba, may mga nagiginig tayo na yung ibang forest or mga gubat, kino-convert siya into more agricultural farms. Kasi kapag pangit na or unproductive na yung lupa dun sa farm na yun, lilipat sila sa iba. So nagkakaroon ng deforestation because of agriculture. As for water naman, although sobrang dami nating tubig sa mundo, we're called the blue planet, diba? Pero 3% lang nun ang fresh water. And we use 69% of that on food production. So dito pa lang makikita natin na sobrang laki yung impact ng food choices natin sa resources tulad ng lupa at tubig. And aside from that, it can also actually affect the survival of other animals. So for example, our food choices can affect overfishing. Ang example dito sa Philippines ay galunggong. So, ako favorite ko talaga yung galunggong eh. One of my favorite local fish talaga yon. So, it used to be considered as the poor man's fish kasi sobrang dami niyang supply. So, sobrang mura niya, di ba? But over the past 10 years, we have seen a steady decline in the supply of galunggong at pag-shoot up ng prices. Ngayon, sobrang mahal na niya per kilo. This is because they are not given the chance to repopulate. So, nagkakaroon ng overfishing because of over-demand. So, aside from this, so meron tayong may effect sa lupa, may effect sa tubig, may effect on other species. We're also seeing a problem on food that is being wasted. So, we're actually producing more than enough food to feed everyone. But 1/3 of all the food that we are producing never reaches our plates. Tapos, nag-end up lang siya sa landfill. So, it becomes food waste. So, minsan, yung pagkain kasi tinatapon siya because of sa quality checks, yung mukha siyang imperfect. Like, kunwari, may spots siya or may blemishes. Pero sa totoo lang, okay pa naman siya, edible pa naman. Or minsan, nasisiraan tayo ng pagkain or yung leftovers, tinatapon lang. Tapos kapag tinatapon lang natin siya and nabubulok siya sa landfills, di ba mabaho siya? May amoy siya eh. Yung amoy na yon is actually methane. So methane is a greenhouse gas that's more powerful than carbon dioxide. So makikita natin dito na may epekto yung food choices natin sa dami ng lupa at tubig na magagamit sa mundo, sa extinction ng ibang mga halaman at hayop, sa mga nasasayang na resources at effort, at lalong-lalo na sa pollution and climate change. So maganda talaga na tinitignan natin yung bigger picture.
I love that you said that, Rain, kasi parang it makes it easier to understand. Because when you first hear, oh, food affects the environment, you kind of think, but how? Only konti lang to. But you don't know that marami pinagdaanan yun bago nakarating yun sa harap mo, di ba? And then even the
Totoo.
way you dispose of food also matters. Like it's not just the choice you make, but also how you, I don't know, how you throw away what's
Correct.
left over, ganyan. Like every step of the way, meron pala talaga siyang effect. One thing I want to ask also is also for the people who are just tuning in now, what is the Sustainable Diner Project? Oh, Miss Lizelle, yes.
Yeah, I'll take your question. Thank you for asking that, Pia. No? So the Sustainable Diner Project is a pioneer project of the Worldwide Fund for Nature Philippines that aims to support and promote SCP or sustainable consumption and production in the food service industry. So we have been working with the government, private sector, and the dining public on integrating sustainable principles and practices in the national and local policies. Ganun din sa business operations ng mga restaurants and the consumer considerations respectively. So this project started in 2017 and we are ending at the end of the month na. So we've been implementing this wonderful project for around 4 years already.
And Miss Lizelle, for the people at home who wanna become a sustainable diner, how do you become a sustainable diner?
Okay, Pia, there are heaps of ways for one to be a sustainable diner. So first, please avoid food waste. So may mga personal food waste tayong no na nagagawa sa apang araw-araw nating buhay, but we can start by our own choices. So we plan our meals, we check our storage and use first what we find there, and then create a shopping list that should consist mostly of what you just need. Turn your food waste into compost if you can, so they don't end up in landfills where they just rot and turn into methane, tulad na nasabi ni Rain, a very powerful kind of greenhouse gas that, needless to say, harms our environment. So another way is to source your food locally. Go for seasonal produce. Support local and sustainable businesses, for they offer products that have less food miles. And they also boost the local economy. So yung mga nabanggit mo rin kanina ng mga farmers na dapat nating tinutulungan, especially sa panahon na to na napaka-slim ng kinikita na lang nila. So yun, supportahan natin sila by patronizing their products. Or better yet, grow your own food if possible. You don't have to own a spacious lot or vegetable garden to be able to produce your own food, katulad ng mga herbs or other various crops. Kasi many have proven this to be quite practical and doable already during the lockdowns. So hindi lang ornamental plants ang pwede nating i-cultivate within the comfort of our homes. We can also grow food, and doing so is not only fulfilling, it is also very exciting. Thirdly, choose planet-based diets or diets that are high on human health benefits and low on environmental impacts. If we can avoid eating too much meat, because production of which intensively requires masses of grains, water, land, energy, and other resources, tulad na nabanggit din ni Rain kanina. So sila yung pinaka matagal at mahirap i-grow yung mga sources ng meat natin. And high consumption of those, especially red and processed meat, is linked with poor health outcomes, tulad ng diabetes, heart diseases, and various types of cancer. At marami pang iba. And ayaw natin ng mga yan, especially now na meron na nga tayong pandemic na kinakaharap, diba? So, as much as possible, wag na rin tayong magkasakit. And fourthly, use your resources efficiently. You know, in the cultivation of food, pati preparation, distribution, and storage, we already utilize a lot of resources. So let's be conscious about ways we can cut down on our electricity, water, and even food consumption on a daily basis. Yung simpleng pagtitipid ng tubig when doing our duties in the kitchen, avoiding frequent trips to the fridge, diba? Yung pati rin yung pagbe-binge eating kasi minsan nasa bahay, madalas nasa bahay lang tayo. And unconscious na tayo sa dami at sa kinds of food that we consume. So yung iba hindi na healthy for us and hindi rin healthy for the environment. So let's be very conscious about that. And lastly, ditch your single-use plastics. When we dine out or buy meals for takeaway, di ba laging nakapack yan, especially pa yung mga binibili natin ngayon through couriers. So let's steer clear of single-use plastics pag lalabas tayo para sa ganung paraan mabawasan na rin yung paglaganap ng plastic waste. Kasi ngayon ang dami na ring plastic waste na na-attribute sa healthcare natin provision, 'di ba? Tulad ng PPE, yung mga face shields and a whole lot more. So we can bring along personal set of utensils when we choose to go out to eat. And reusable bags and containers na rin because they come in handy pag nag-grocery tayo, 'di ba? Or meron tayong leftovers na pwede nating iuwi at i-repurpose or kainin ulit. So these are quite practical actions, 'di ba, na we can take in order to avoid contributing to the environmental problems that we have been experiencing na. So simpleng mga bagay lang to kung tutuusin that we might not even realize that are helping the environment. But the key is intentionality, which leads to consistency. Kasi yung consistency na yon yung tutulong sa atin para maging lifestyle na talaga yung sustainability, even in the production and consumption of food.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lizelle. Mas naging clear na rin sa amin ngayon and hopefully also to everybody watching right now on how they can apply these really simple, if you think about it, simple steps, but you have to be committed, simple steps into doing their part. Now, I'll ask this question to Rain. A message encouraging our audience to practice sustainable consumption and production.
So first I wanna say na guilty naman ako dun sa sinabi ni Liz. Pag masyadong bibisita sa ref. So goes to show, no, na wala talagang perfect. Pero gusto ko yung sabi niya na intentionality talaga at consistency. So kahit kami, we're still working on it. So as I mentioned kanina, when we think about our own actions and our decisions, we always have to look at the bigger picture of things. So think about the things that you do in your everyday life na iniisipan mo na parang okay lang yan, once lang naman, or okay lang yan, isang tao lang naman ako, di ba, ano yung effect nun? Tapos isipin mo, kung ganun din mag-isip, yung billions of people in the world, what if they're doing the same thing? So pwede rin siyang tignan in reverse. So when we do small things like eating more vegetables and less meat, or saying no to the plastic bag dyan sa kapag namimili tayo sa labas, or buying local produce instead of imported ones, madaling isipin na bakit ko pa ginagawa to, di ba? May effect ba tong good deeds that I'm doing? Mag-isa lang naman ako. So isipin rin natin na paano kung billions of people do the same thing. So collective action is so powerful. Collectively demanding from our government and businesses that we want something better for our planet is so powerful. So never ever feel like your small changes make no difference because small ripples of change lead to bigger impacts. At ito actually yung philosophy behind dun sa 5 principles of sustainable dining na na-mention ni Liz. So kung titignan natin yung 5 principles na na-mention niya, sobrang simple lang niya, 'di ba? So baka nga yung iba dito ginagawa na natin sa bahay natin eh. So we wanted to show that doing better for our planet doesn't have to be complicated. So it can start with small actions like this and then influencing the people around you to do the same. Tapos eventually, magugulat na lang tayo na yung pagiging sustainable diner natin ay isang normal lang parte ng ating buhay at ng ating community. So ipagpatuloy lang po natin ang pagiging sustainable diners and remember that our collective impact starts with our own individual choices.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Rain. Thank you, Rain and Lizelle, for sharing your expertise with us. Oh guys, di ba? Intimidating mang pakinggan, but we can practice sustainability kahit sa mga maliliit na bagay lang at sa mga everyday choices na ginagawa natin. Kahit naman ako, ganun din ako, hindi perfect, nagkakamali pa rin ako minsan, but I always try to be aware na I'm gonna make the better choice each time I have the chance. Ngayon naman, it's our viewers' turn to share. What are the sustainable dining practices that you and your family do at home to ensure na hindi lang yung tummy natin ang happy, but pati na rin si Mother Nature? Comment them below and isa-isahin natin yan in a bit. I'll give you guys some time to type. At habang naghihintay tayo ng comments, I would like to again invite everyone to help out with our fundraising, because this is actually, yes, it is a fundraising. So we will raise funds to provide livelihood starter kits for our partner communities in Lagonoy Gulf and Mindoro Strait. In these challenging times, that support the lives of the people from our partner communities who work tirelessly to ensure that we are well fed and that wildlife and their habitats are protected. So donate today by clicking the pinned comment below, you'll see it, and by sending in Facebook stars, and help us build a future where people and nature thrive. Okay, I am gonna read some of your comments. Here we go. Ooh, medyo marami na. Okay. Sustainable dining practices. All right. Ishi Padilla says, the sustainable dining practice I do at home is planning my meals ahead to prevent food waste. Food is too precious to waste. I agree. Just planning ahead and knowing kung ano ba talaga yung mga kailangan mo really is key. Planning talaga. And I also know that feeling. Don't you have that guilty feeling whenever you have like leftover and then it will just go to the trash can? Alam mo yun, hindi na pwede ngayon yun, guys. Nakaka-guilty na. Apple Ademis, or Ademis, I'm sorry, I hope I'm saying your name right, says, I incorporate sustainability in the kitchen by trying to use local produce as much as I can. This way, I don't only lessen my carbon footprint, but I also support the livelihood of our local farmers. And please say hello to my daughter, Summer. Hi, Summer! Hello! Okay. So I hope Summer is also learning from our episode today. Mari C. De Los Reyes naman says, I incorporate sustainability in the kitchen by planning my meals. Yes, we mentioned this. Ito talaga, planning meals, saving water, she says, and composting, sorry. Again, planning my meals, saving water, and composting. Our relationship with food is directly connected to the environment, and I hope many people realize that. I hope so too, after they watch this episode. And Astrid Ocampo says, I reduced my meat intake to ideally 2 to 5 meals a month. May months na sumusobra pero conscious choice lang in life. You know, this is another thing that I wanted to mention earlier. Like, literally your food choices. Kung ano yung pinipili mo means you support that. So ano yung hindi mo piliin means you don't support that. Now, if you're used to buying imported meat, for example, sinusupport mo yon. So, alam mo yon, like, we're hoping that if many people are conscious about their food choices, then those parang unnecessary products that are imported don't have to be there anymore. I think, that's also one of the things that I wanted to mention earlier. Shout out na rin to those who sent stars, by the way. Si Ken Lexter Torres, thank you. Si Trin Custodio, thank you, Trin. MJ Reich, I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you, MJ. And Christy Dula Tansyongko. Okay, thank you, Christy. Thank you guys for sending in your Facebook stars. Those will convert to a monetary value, so then we can then donate that towards this fundraising campaign. Okay, so I think that's it. I don't know if there are any more comments, but it looks like that's it for today. Just one last look. Yep, I think that's it. So, umabot pa tayo sa 1 hour or magchikahan pa tayo? Baka naman may mga gusto pang pumasok ng mga donations. By the way, one more thing that I wanted to mention is that if you're watching this right now as a replay and not on the actual live, don't worry because you can still donate. So this isn't like, you know how like some people think, oh, fundraising hour, it's just for that hour. Hindi, actually, if you are watching this as a replay, you can still donate. Makaklik mo pa rin yung Simply Giving na link na yan. Okay, I'll also share it on my social media channels so then more of you can get the information that you need. So Simply Giving is the key. That's the website where we're going to go to send in our donations. I actually will share that. So let's see if we have any more comments. Baka naman meron kayong easy na pwedeng i-apply sa everyday para mas maging sustainable diner na tayo. I'm gonna try to think of some too. That's one thing that I also, for health purposes, have been reducing my meat intake for health purposes. But hindi lang para sa health ko yun eh. Alam mo yun, parang in a way, you're also helping out the environment because then if there less people are, consuming it, then it wouldn't be in the groceries or in the stores. So there we go. What else? I think one more thing that I learned for today is also the way that we throw food away. Yung mga sira na or hindi na makakain, ganyan. Because of what they mentioned earlier, how that, emits like this gas that is really harmful to the environment. It just makes me think it's not enough that you just ginanon mo lang sa basurahan tas okay na, parang it's somebody else's problem. Like, no, the way you dispose of it is also super important. Ano ba naman yung dalawa na lang yung trash can, di ba? Isa sa mga nabubulok at di nabubulok. Pero kaya yan, guys. I know, even for me, some of these things were kind of like an adjustment to do in your everyday life. But once you give it a shot, it actually isn't that hard. And you'll get used to it really quickly. Oh, okay. So we have more comments here. Ishi Padilla says, same, I also eat less meat to lessen my carbon footprint. That's one way. And Leah Alfonso says, our family's sustainable dining practice at home is growing our own ingredients and using them in our meals, especially greens and herbs. This is true. Lalo na kung meron kayong and you've become a plantita during this pandemic, then this is something that you could do. Imagine being able to eat something you grew yourself. That's a nice feeling. I don't know about you guys, but then knowing that I just didn't cook this. I grew this salad so that I could, give myself some sustenance. Like, this is amazing. It's actually really amazing. Sometimes we just have to go back to those basics, Okay, so Noel Dacilio, I hope I said your name right. Noel Dacilio says, I eat local and buy local products. I agree with that too. Nakaka-guilty ng bumili ng mga imported at nakaka-guilty na pagkain at nakaka-guilty na rin bumili ng tumambay dun sa international aisle ng groceries. Sa totoo lang. Doon na lang tayo sa fresh. At alamin din natin kung saan galing yung produce na binibili natin, 'di ba? Come on, if you had the choice, why wouldn't you do the better choice? Okay, let's see if I find any more. Guys, don't forget to share this video also. If you're not able to donate yourself, sorry, I think I'm blurred. It's my camera. Okay. Ay, nako, anong nangyari? Okay, that will focus on its own once it catches me. Ito yung pagka masyado ng high-tech yung mga, ayun, okay, hindi na ako gagalaw. So, guys, if you're unable to donate yourself, or that's also fine, but we would appreciate it if you could share this video on your page or share it on your social media channels. Kasi baka naman may ibang makakita ng video na to and they're like, oh, well, I can help. You know, sayang naman, baka may ibang makakita. Okay, mag-shoutout na rin tayo kay Leila Naden Kanene. Sorry kung nagkakamali ako sa pronunciation ng names niyo. Leila Naden Kanin. Michael Benson, Lauren Aguila, and Flor Lazaro. Hi guys, kumusta? Thanks for watching. And Jezreel Beleza has a question. What Filipino dish do you miss the most when you're outside of the country? Adobo. Yun palagi. It's so weird because when I'm in the Philippines, I don't really crave adobo. It's true. Pero pag wala ako dito, I'm like, saan adobo? Lutuin niyo ko adobo. Parang weird, no? I think I don't know. Pero yun ang palagi ko nire-request pag nasa abroad ako. Tapos may na-meet ako ibang Pilipinos. Sabi ko, yun ako adobo. So, yes, that's one thing that I miss the most when I'm out of the country. Also, our mangoes wala tayong kapareho talaga kahit saan ka pumunta sa mundo. I've tried mangoes from other parts of the world. It is never as sweet and as juicy as the ones over here. And mahirap i-import yun sa ibang bansa. I've tried buying Philippine mangoes in the UK and they were so expensive. Kasi yung handling and shipping nun, sobrang, di ba nabubruise agad yun? Sobrang fragile niya. Tapos ang layo pa ng paggagalingan. So, tsaka actually sa mga nanonood abroad ngayon buy local to to what country you're in. Baka mamaya yung mga ibang Pilipino dyan na nasa ibang bansa, sabi, uy, buy local, punta tayo sa Pinoy grocery, ganyan. I mean, yes, but also buy local, like local to you. Local, Filipino pala yung interpretation. Okay, what about you guys? Any favorite Pinoy dish or local produce that are in season right now? Please let us know. We have a few more minutes. And we're also doing this fundraising hour for our kababayans in Lagonoy Gulf and Mindoro Strait. So, again, habang nagtatype kayo ng comments nyo about your favorite Pinoy dishes or local produce, I want to remind again that this is a fundraising hour to support Kabuhayan para sa Kababaihan campaign. There you go. You can see it in your screens right now. Kabuhayan para sa Kababaihan campaign, which will also help us secure the livelihood of 21 tuna fishing communities in the Lagonoy Gulf and Mindoro Strait. WWF-Philippines has been working on 2 handline yellowfin tuna fishery improvement projects, or FIPs, in these areas since 2011 and has a deep and strong relationship with the local fishing communities. So while these communities have made significant strides towards sustainable fisheries, they're still struggling with the effects of extreme weather events such as typhoons and as well as the disruption of their supply chains because of COVID-19. So to support these communities, ang gagawin ng WWF is they held a series of training on tuna value adding and processing. 104 women in Lagonoy Gulf and 120 women in Mindoro Strait have participated in hands-on workshops to learn how to process tuna meat into products such as tuna longanisa, tuna burgers, and tuna nuggets. So these trainings are meant to help enable these women to start their own businesses and to add value to the tuna caught in the area. But however, despite the training, the women have not been able to make use of their new skill because of lack of equipment and resources to pursue these tuna processing activities. Kaya naman tonight, we're going to raise funds for the provision of livelihood starter kits for them. So that's so they can continue their education also. Donate today, guys, by clicking the pinned comment below and by sending in Facebook stars. Your Facebook stars actually get converted to a monetary donation, and you can help build a future where people nurture and thrive. In these challenging times, let's support the lives of the people from our partner communities who work tirelessly to ensure that we are well fed and that wildlife and their habitats are protected. Okay. So as we can see, we have around 21,000 pesos already. And this fundraising is gonna go for a while anyway. And ipopost ko pa to sa mga socials ko. Iba-blast natin to. I-share natin siya sa maraming mga friends natin para ma-reach natin ang ating goal. And we have time anyway. Okay, so I have a few comments already. Let's read it. Benjamin Ferreras, tinola sa sampalok. Kanin na may pandan. Astrid Ocampo, ginataang talong na may sili. Oh. Saan mahanap to? Jonah Jacinto says, lumpiang Shanghai supremacy. Yun. And Marisi de los Reyes says, tinola na may maraming sayote and native chicken is my favorite. Local is the best, she says. Si Leylan naman, Leylan na din Kanene says, I love sinigang the most. So sinigang yung most love natin of the night. I saw. Sinigang yung pinaka-favorite ng mga tao. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your favorites with us. I think that's it, no? Well, thank you so much, guys. And if you are watching this ngayon pa lang, we are collecting donations. You can click the link on the comment, the pinned comment. So may link dyan, and it will take you to Simply Giving, and you can send in your donation there. And you can also send in Facebook stars. May time pa. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. That includes our fundraising live stream. We hope that we inspired everyone to have a healthier relationship with food and the environment. Maraming salamat din po to everyone who generously donated tonight and who will donate pa after watching this video. Thank you, thank you. Again, if you want to learn more about how you can help with WWF Philippines environmental frontliners and partner communities, log on to wwf.philippines.org.ph/donate or check out the link on the pinned comment of this live stream. Okay, tandaan guys, we can all do something for the planet. Together, let us change the ending and create a future where people live in harmony with nature. Stay tuned again in the coming weeks because my fellow ambassadors from WWF Philippines, Panda Family, will hold more of these fundraising live streams to support WWF Philippines environmental conservation efforts. So you'll see more of us. All right, guys, thank you so much. This has been Pia Wurtzbach, now signing off. Enjoy the rest of your week. Mwah.